Don't forget to subscribe to our channel where you can get to watch more powerful and impactful videos. Also join us on the comment section, on the chat section. Chat us up. Tell us what you think about the topics of the day. What insights do you have about the topics of the day? What's your favorite meme for the day? And let's have an amazing time. So let's get into today's episode.
Welcome to Firebrand Nation News. Kawaida. I am excited, elated, I am thrilled. I just have to add kidogo excited. I am excited. It's a full house. We have 3 guys against 2, which is Firebrand Nation kunenangaje because niliachanga 1:5, if I'm not wrong. 1:5.
1:5. Who is 1 with
The one guy is to 5 women. Yeah, so that's what I mean.
Okay.
According to statistics, but no, I don't know that. I don't know that.
We shall revisit.
Also, welcome once again to Firebrand Nation News. Remember to use the hashtag Panelist Monday on all our social media platforms, on JBN Television, Firebrand Nation K on Facebook, and Firebrand Nation on YouTube. Without further ado, we have one guy who has been lost for quite a while, but I am really excited to have him back. Yes. Firebrand Hope, let's start with you for the introduction.
I'm Firebrand Hope. It has been 3 months.
Namesake.
3 months. But as you can see, we were doing official businesses. So, must be nice. I don't feel the pressure of COVID. Money has insulted me for long, but this time I was insulting money. But it's good to be back. I'm excited. I'm looking forward for such an awesome show. I had missed memes. Oh goodness. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Yes.
Awesome. Firebrand Joshua.
Ladies and gentlemen, Firebrand Joshua Joe. I'm excited to be in the show today. It's going to be lit. Stay tuned for an amazing time.
Was that short?
I'm even surprised.
Are you okay today?
Are you hot?
Are you hungry?
Usani.
Usani.
Alipanda bei. Tangu anze kuhit 12k views.
Ashikiki.
I mean.
Tangaza tuambie kwa boom play. Aluta continue.
Okay.
To the beautiful.
Zinaitangwa music store.
Okay, sawa. I do not
Mambo ya watu wa muziki, waachie wewe ambia zikakati.
Watu wa mentalist, instrumentalist.
Ndio atakuwa mentalist.
Ndio atakuwa mentalist. Anyway,
aliachongea sana.
Okay, my name is Firebrand Frida. Last time I'm a content creator. I am coming up with new content, I think by the end of the week. New content, not really new content, just let me say refurbishing of what I've been doing, coming up this week, hopefully. And yeah, for more information, you can follow me on Instagram at Willy_.
Kani nimemsambazia hiyo.
I know. I'm even like, wow.
Pesa kidogo.
Hata mimi sikuwa na pesa nilikuwa nichoche.
I'm coming up with new content.
Refurbishing.
I'm refurbishing.
Sorry.
I have not even finished my intro. And I am also I'm not a voice coach. I'm a musician. I am a singer. I am a songwriter. So if you need me for events,
Anakapie wangu.
if you need me for an event, for a birthday, wedding, proposal, these nice things. Yeah, you can holler.
Proposal.
Proposals.
Which one? Business or
You can holler at your girl. Yeah, you can
Holler your girl.
But most importantly, I'm a 3rd-year student at the University of Nairobi studying law.
still love policies?
I still love policies.
Inakayino mebadilishana leo.
This is what happened. You guys, let me just let you know. Nimeomoka. Nikapata pesa. So siongei sana but ananiongelelea.
Right.
Oh, wow.
We can agree on that.
Insult money. Salt ones.
It's salt money.
And lastly, Firebrand.
My guys. Today I've taken a break from official looks. Nimeacha wale ma newcomers. But anyway, my name is Daniel.
Ndio rumors tulikuwa tunaongea. Rumors kidogo and you already want to
There are rumors that nimeanza kupata mapeni and I've come to confirm those rumors. Keep them flowing. At least nipate. Today I'm also coming with something else apart from the new look. This creative ministry. Yes, this is part of who I am, a creative minister, especially in poetry and spoken word. Ndio maana nimeamua leo acha niangushe label and mjue mkae mkijua mimi ni msanii. Without respect mimi ni msanii. But when I put I look too serious for life. Today is going to be show, going to be today's going to be lit. But hata kama tuna suti tuko serious. Kuna wengine tuko na suti na tabia za jeans, but shikilia tu.
Umelipa pesa ngapi kwenye hiyo?
Niko nasema hivyo. Nafaa kulipwa, mnafaa kunifikia pesa.
Alikuwa Merihas. Nimesahau maneno hapo katikati. He has actually rehearsed for that.
Because ile rehearsals zenye ulikuwa nazo za nini za music fest.
Yes.
Alafu unafika pale maneno zinapotea.
Zimepotea but
well.
Shikilia tu hapo.
Wow, like Ishanza na hype, I am really excited. You show already. I can feel it. I can feel it in the spirit. Kind of feeling.
Somebody say hallelujah. Somebody say hallelujah.
Where is the offering bag?
Green bag.
Wachungaji na offering.
Lazima.
Bahasha nono.
Also, I'd like to shout out to two people. Kimani Sauce behind the cameras. And our producer Eric. Like, it is always important to shout out to the people that you are working with. And Firebrand Antonia, Firebrand Jane Nyoro. It's awesome. Like we be family. We might not be together, but
and
in
pesh.
spirit. I feel like my name Chris, but in spirit.
Somebody say hallelujah.
Somebody
say
hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord. If you're streaming online, remember to like,
Mtafanya nipoteze kazi mkiendelea.
If you're streaming online via Facebook or YouTube, remember to like, share, and comment. And if you're watching through TV, you can leave your comment on 0722-510-870. And then if you want to join Firebrand Nation, this is part of Firebrand Nation. And if you feel like you have the calling, you can join us using the website at Firebrand Nation, www.firebrandnation. Awesome. Let's hit the meme section. Firebrand Nation, the dance. Steve.
Na sasa ni wakati wa
hiyo wachia wa mama.
Umeshikisha?
Niko na meka.
Nipanda.
Ndio mama.
Wacha tuanze hapa mwisho.
Yes. This one imenifurahisha. Which business can you start without money? Hey, butchery. I started mine with the voice of a goat. Me. I'm a goat. Honestly speaking, really, watching Oliza, what is wrong? It must be nice being a Kenyan.
It's really nice.
Apart from character development, it's nice.
The best.
No, na ni swali imeulizwa na K24. Yani
unaweza patiwa kazi. Umshachukua tu soundtrack ya mbuzi.
I think this guy alikuwa sawa because the people asking this question pia, like, you know, there's no business that you can start without money. You understand? Even that voice of the goat requires energy of food energy for you to.
Lazima uichinje pia.
But I like the creativity.
Kenyans are very creative.
I like
we are creative people.
Ati yangu nilianza na sauti ya mboss.
Mzee.
Oh my god. Okay, tukipanda hivyo juu. Next meme. I love you, but as a friend. Explained.
20 marks.
It's like a hotspot connected.
No
internet. I don't know if you've been to such internet, like ina connect pako na shanga. Mse, ime connect faster.
Na ime connect full bar.
Full bar. But no internet. No internet.
In zone fulani unasikia ile zone yenye uko permanent ni kani region. Hii zone
Mko wengi
bana, mko wengi ni region ambapo I love you my friend, I love you so much.
I love you but as a friend.
Alafu na kuzini ndio at least ikuhit. I love you so much. But as a friend.
Ni kama wale wase break up anakwambianga you'll find someone better than me.
Wewe ulisikia wapi?
Do you know that statement, eh?
Ndio member you'll find
Okay, you don't need to tell me.
Inakwanga hivyo.
Inakwanga hivyo.
But you kweli ama?
Ni kweli?
Ni kweli.
Hapana. At that time you're the better person.
Yeah,
so to this person, so don't tell someone
you
you'll
probably
find
the flow
someone
better.
better.
Yes, I shall.
But
What
at some point you agree because amekaa chini ameassess akaona she's not the best person. So technically, yeah, you know.
Unajua hiyo kitu haikuangi ya kukutakia.
No, it is an excuse for leaving.
Kama unasikia, ni wale wase the problem is me.
It's not you, it's me. I need to go work on myself.
10 years down the line. You just figured out 10 years down the line. It's not you.
Ukisikia mtu anataka kuwork on themselves.
And it's 10 years down. No,
msha groove hapo nakwambia by the way I'm not ready for a relationship. And then like okay by the way are those things real?
They are.
Are they real?
Ukitaka kujua ni real, uliza Trevor Umbinja. They are very real. 10 years.
10 years. Na umelipa dawari.
Ndio umelipa dawari.
Unakuwa kwa internet yenye hotspot yenye
Haina internet. Okay.
Na connected.
Moving to the next one. Mombasa Road people. If I have a 10 a.m. flight tomorrow and I'm on Bong Road, what time should I leave the house? What are you still doing in the house? For real, unafanya nini kwa nyumba? Right now Mombasa Road is crazy. Terribly crazy. The traffic hata siwezi taka kupitia Mombasa Road.
Watu wangu kutoka Ruai mshajua stage Mombasa Road.
What? I'm taking it. That's personal. You need to apologize.
That's personal.
Yaani labda mnaga reason kwa sababu zimepiga Mariru tusikapitia Ruai ziingie tao.
I can actually use Mombasa Road to get to Ruai.
Sasa nataka kuongelea nini?
Why are you being personal?
But it's real. But I'm usually surprised. Ni Mombasa Road gani mnaongelea because it's not the whole part of Mombasa Road. There's a certain stretch.
It's from Lolongo.
From Lolongo until hapo Cabanas. Until Cabanas somewhere there. But from Cabanas ukiendelea hivi mbele hadi GM. So Kajam kaanza kushika from GM to Nyayo. But huko mimi naeka huko Mlolongo Kitengela. Huko tu babanga tu kama mattress na maji ya kunywa.
Nilisikia ikisemekana ati because they actually constructing the road.
Yeah,
so kuna vumbi. Wako wanasema ati wanahitaji kujengea watu bafu huko kando.
Ukitoka unaenda ukioga.
Because vile wase ufika wakikaa Nairobi, wazee wafika CBD. MC.
Mimi naweza kwa biashara.
That is good business.
Manze 20 kwa kuoga.
20 ni kidogo. 25.
Just to be clear, mnaongelea kwa kaka ndio barabara, right?
Yes.
Si
una nini? Wewe umekaa msitu sana wewe.
Kutoka Nairobi.
Wale wanasikia hawkers wa towels, please begin supplying, begin getting ready.
Na
sabuni, right?
Moving on swiftly. So there's a question. If Adam got his wife for free, for free.
Free. Repeat,
CCTV. If Adam got his wife for what? For free. Who on earth came up with this habit of calling boy child with madowry? Here's the common Kenyan typical response.
From Njoki.
Njoki wa baina.
Na inakuwa Njoki
aliitishwa babu yake na wewe una complain ukiitishwa ya mbuzi.
Imagine.
Yani
for you guys.
Utakwambia Adam bread press yake ilikuwa ni mbavu.
Mbavu yake.
Si ndio, we
men
have less of overrib.
Uko sure?
Esi wa Kanairo.
Wakanairo wako na zaidi.
Wakanero walikuja complete set.
Wakanero wanasema
Complete set.
But dowry is an appreciation.
No.
It is. Dowry is
It's an appreciation, I accept. But siku hizi watu wazazi wanajitajirisha. Unaingia kwa boma ya mtu unaanza kuhesabia school fees ya kutoka nursery. As if mimi mzazi wangu hakunisomesha.
Nasikia kama mtu ako na 3 ladies. Nasikia kaya kabroti kapale Ruai wewe ndio utajenga.
And nowadays kwanza Kikuyu men are looking for ladies. Watoto wasichana because they know this is well.
Unasikia aka ni kabroti, aka ni kagari.
In V8.
In Range Rover. In Mercedes.
Wewe kileto tu kama Mercedes juu yako sitakataa. Na tuvambe 200.
Ukisoweka ni demo kisumbua unasikia na vile unasumbua wewe. Wewe tutakupatia pro box.
It is not racist. Angalia hata mwenye amejibu. Joki wa maina.
It's still racist.
There's a question. Is bride price a price or should it be just appreciation?
It should be.
It is the price you pay.
Acha nikwambie kuna mwanaume alilipa bride price na bavu yake. Wewe unaitishwa abuzi unaanza kusumbua. Hujaitishwa yako. Hujaitishwa
abuzi.
Ona nimekuwa subject. I'm not saying.
Why are you complaining about dowry? No,
take a look at it.
The internet never forgets. Are you seeing? Be careful.
Are you seeing?
Na huyo Njoki wa Maina anashuku ni mama ya mtu. Ako ready along the corner dowry inakuja. He responds.
I'm just wondering why he's against dowry.
No one is against dowry.
One, I'm not against dowry. I am like, there is never a true price for your daughter.
Yes.
There is never a day where a parent can quote for you a certain bride price and then it becomes, you can't quantify your daughter with the bride price you give. Even if it's 10 million, your daughter can never be 10 million. So no matter nasema, kuna wazazi wanataka kuwa ni a price value equivalent to your daughter.
Not even a price value. Inakani kama ni revenge mission. Yeye amehangaika kwa maisha.
Ni kama mlikoseana mahali ulimkona akiwa msichana mdogo. So
yes, it looks like a revenge mission.
Na mwanzo niletee maploti.
Kwanza kakiingia secondary nilichukua loan.
Ya 200,000.
I feel like in this session ile mlikuwa mnataka kutoa sentiments zenyu.
Yeah, clearly. Ya 200,000.
Like kama mmeguza pahali.
Wameguza bahali.
No, actually tunaumia huko.
Now I'm just wondering what happens when in a situation of India where it is the lady who is paying the bride price.
Ni kwa sababu India lazima ulipie kwa sababu zile mashida wasichana wa India wanaletea wanaume.
Mimi nikienda India utalipia kwanza karata development ya Nairobi. Kwa Nairobi utalipia kwanza huko.
You see that is the same kind of attitude that we are talking about. Yes. Because when you're talking about India, no, I'm just speaking facts.
Ama ikue kwa sababu ukienda unaenda kuconsume. So unalipia mapema. Probably. Anyway. Moving on.
You know, bride price you gotta pay. Yeah, you gotta pay bride price. You gotta pay.
Like the logical aspect, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, we agree, but
make it logical.
But make it logical.
Are you okay?
Are you what? It's okay. Are you what?
Moving on.
Oh, you sure?
Moving on. Off cameras.
Off camera.
Okay, let's do two last moves.
If you think a man of God is not important, kindly let me address you. Try to baptize yourself.
Shaka tabu.
Preach it.
In heaven, it will be recorded as swimming.
Swimming.
And that's on period.
Yeah.
On period.
I'm telling you.
Mic drop.
To all those who think that the men of God are not important, please go baptize yourself.
Yeah.
That is swimming.
Go swim.
It is swimming.
It's swimming.
It is
not recorded in heaven.
It is not recorded in heaven. It's not. Men of God are important.
Very.
And because you cannot, three things. You cannot baptize yourself. You cannot bury yourself. And you cannot wed yourself.
But the Bible says
Can
let
I
the
hear
dead
amen?
bury their dead.
What?
The Bible says let the dead bury their dead.
Condemn this one again.
I don't ever swim.
Hey, you go swim. We will meet in heaven.
We will meet in heaven with the records.
With the records. You will not be there. We will not allow the angel to let you come to die with the Father.
Some of you get to heaven with na sense fulani ya hell. But
This is the last meme, right?
Yeah.
All right, the last meme. The stone that the builder refused. Huwa imekungoja pale kwa ndengu. Yani.
Yani umejienjoy na inakujanga unexpectedly. Yani ile mpaka nerves zinashtuka.
I know.
Nerves zinashtuka.
Unashtukana na mimi nakanga tukijiko chini ndani yake. Nimba mawe.
Na acha nikuulize na si shade. I thought specs zako za kusaidia. Okay.
Right.
Off camera.
Whoa.
Off camera.
I just realized it just turned to something else.
Moving swiftly.
People are keeping Talibanism.
You can see the stones that the builders rejected.
It was been used as the cornerstone.
You are now the rejected stone.
By the way, inakuanga pale kwa ndengu tu.
Hata si beans.
Mostly
ya maharagwe.
Ndio kwanga kubwa.
Hizi ni mama kubwa zinaona.
Alafu ni firestone.
lakini unajua unaweza ona ya ndengu ni mbaya. Ya ndengu ni mbaya juu inakuanga imekungoja. Wacha na ile umeingoja. Ya ndengu inakuanga imekungoja.
Unakula maharagwe na ile hizi kwanza mbele.
Umekula.
How do you eat like
Hapo unasikia
Yes.
Remember the builders.
Cornerstone ndio hiyo. Cornerstone.
Alafu hiyo cornerstone inakujanga corner.
Literally.
I love that.
Corner.
No wonder hata wananini.
The cornerstone.
Okay, moving to the next one.
Let's do the last one. Let's do the COVID one and then I wrap up this part.
When you have been to Sunday school or church in a while, who killed
Goliath?
COVID?
Calvin, I'm telling you. This one is
so bad. So bad.
No, actually ni spaces mbili zimeachwa ni VIP. We all
yeah,
know
and
that.
then
David,
and then even before you answer, you're like COVID.
You know, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing. Actually, the first time we came to church, like after a long while, the first thing was like COVID. You know, sanity, mask.
Hadi bisha kikilia throat like COVID.
Hey, you're like the preacher. Hey,
Hadi uko umekado yako ati excuse me. COVID.
COVID. Like the first thing was anyway. God deliver us from COVID.
Maybe Goliath died of COVID.
You never know, right?
You never know. The stone had COVID.
Ilikuwa na hizo virusi.
It was the rejected stone.
You're doing
Tuna soja ndengu tafadhali. Ndengu never kill Goliath, but it was the stone.
Wewe maneno ya dengu wachia. Serikali kupe kazi.
Awesome. I think that was one of the awesomest COVID that did it for me. Lakini hapana ya mbavu. Mbavu ndio hit place. Mwache kuleta shida.
Kuna mtu anakuja pipi. The way you are defending yourself.
Tuambie umeshaona.
Potential.
Inaitwa mgodi.
Mine.
Mbona kapoteshwa mahali?
Naona gold mine.
Gold mine.
Itajibu hivi. Sitolewa na msichana.
Kuna kijana ambaye uko hapo anza kutayarisha ka V8.
Leo V8 yasha.
Tunaanza kuongelea
milioni issue.
na kama una pale kwa mlango. Yule.
Na mkuje mkipiga honi.
Pipi na lilili.
Hamujapiga vizuri, rudini.
Rudini mwanza tena.
Kwanza alikuwa anasema huyu kwanza anakuanga kwa TV. Anakuanga kwa TV. Mushaino. Mushaino.
Unaona rangi yake?
Tunaanza na rangi.
Tunaanza na rangi. Siwezi kumaintain.
Mimi sioni kwa.
Ukiangalia hiyo rangi unaona inakaa Duracell.
These views do not represent me or JBS.
Hii ni raw maintenance.
Ukiangalia hivi unaona ni kangazi la.
I repeat, these views do not represent me.
Okay.
Let me shift. Moving forward swiftly.
Alafu narudi unasikia akisema aka sio ka diesel ni ka petroli.
Sio kerosene.
Inatoka kwa nini?
Kamenikura mileage haka.
Na ni kamo pia
Na ni twin turbo.
ni ka zero mileage.
I am done with this sort of the topic.
Moving on.
Whoa, I love it.
Wow. Okay.
Moving on swiftly. Right.
Kikanyaga mafuta kanaburuka kuburuka.
Na hajakambia sana.
Vile miguu yake atatembea.
Nyororo. Hajakambia. Baba kana
sanity. Back to the topic of the day.
Kananusaga tu mafuta.
Singebuzilia babu clearly.
Oh my
Back to the discussion of the day. So far, without making it too serious though, with the same energy, we talked about, through the promo, then there were like 2 deaths of daughters. So one girl, 1 year, 8 months. That caught me. And then we have the other lady, the other daughter who was 3 years. And the mother got 15 years of manslaughter. But personally, they need more years because of children. So when my question was, are the millennials biting more than they can chew in this sense? Because the one child who was 2 years, that's 20 months old, the mom went for her birthday party, her 18th birthday party, and left her kid for 6 days alone. So she died out of neglect and starvation. And this other is just another thing altogether. So, in my opinion, not in my opinion, I ask once again, are the millennials biting more than they can chew? Are they biting more than they can chew?
Minito daktari. Just so you know, I did biochemistry and I graduated. Are the millennials biting more than they can chew? First, let me share my grievances, my pain when I was listening to these videos. One, there's this TikToker person who killed.
Yeah, that's the second story.
Yeah,
the 3-year-old daughter.
The 3-year-old daughter. Any unachapa mtoto mpaka anakufa. And then the other one, you leave your child for 6 days, like day 1, day 2, day 3. You're not even wondering, did I have a baby by the way? Like there's no memory of you having a baby anywhere. Or maybe you thought about it and then said, katajisort. But then, this is a 1-year-old child. So yes, to some extent, there are some of us who have become mothers without being ready for motherhood. They're biting, eating more than they can.
They're not even biting.
They're not even
They're
biting.
eating.
And they're just stuffing up things that they can't even eat. Yeah.
My aspect was kuharakisha life, and that's the one thing that I feel. And it's not bad because at times somebody can tend to mature faster. But then I usually feel that we have a tendency of kuharakisha life, which is not a bad, depending on what aspect. So you can find you're 20, and that's usually what usually happens. I'm sorry to use you, but let me just use you. Graduate in the biochem. Afu somebody that hata labda ulishinda ukiwa class anaendesha V8. So as a result, we get that the millennials wanna have kuharakisha life to just hit a standard. Because that was my type of thinking. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Firebrand, what do you think?
Personally, I think, the way we have been cultured, especially the millennials, were listening to Osho's stories last week on Twitter. There is a narrative that has been sold out in the society. That this narrative of work hard work pays, that narrative is long gone. It is how fast do you think? How fast are you able to make money?
Right.
No one cares. No one cares how you make your money, as long as you have money.
Right.
You see, that's the kind of narrative. And I remember the last time I was here, we were talking about the same thing. But I said there's need for the moral fabric of the society to be amended back.
Right.
because this generation, I saw the 18-year-old, an 18-year-old, she's still too young,
right.
Way too young to even become a mother, way too young. So technically, this girl has not been cultured in a society where she has been taught the aspect of womanhood.
Right.
You see, nowadays, like when was the last time your mother actually sat down with you and said, you're growing up, you're becoming a woman, things are going to happen in life. You see, so that lack of information, now kids out here, we have smartphones. Information is quick, highly accessible, you see, and they're accessing all manner of information. So you find by the end of the day, the parents have neglected their responsibility. And as a consequence, someone else has taken over that responsibility and the society. Na tunasemanga asiyefunzwa na mamaye hufunza na uzoefu. Now what this generation is doing is that we are being taught by the world. And we are learning well, and we are taking notes, and we are doing well of it. So for me personally, when it comes to this issue altogether, it narrows down to how the society is now structured, because we are moving to a very fast society, an interconnected society, and you can see most of the things that are happening over TikTok. That is social media. In the next few years, you'll see people now, like that video of the mother beating the child to death. You see, in the next few years, serial killers will now begin recording their murders online. Like in Germany, we had a case of a guy who went outside a synagogue church and started shooting people, and he recorded it live. You see, so even how social media right now is being used, it is being used as a platform to radicalize, as a platform to disseminate hate, as a platform to advance aggression. So you find people, and you'll find that in criminology, we always say that we always have a tendency towards certain things in life. So you find you have maybe, you're genetically predisposed to anger. So you need some specific impulses to just come and trigger you, and you snap out. So maybe you'll find for that woman, it was media. For the first time, she's seeing people going, maybe responding to her live TikTok. So she's like, I'm thrilled. And in the heat of the moment, she goes way overboard. It's the psychology when it comes with social media. You know, sometimes you'll get, I call it the crowd effect. You find that when you're in a crowd, you don't think.
The spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect, yes. So you find for the first time, someone is actually paying attention to her. So she's like, okay, people can actually comment. So she's like, let me continue. So it all narrows down on even us controlling what is being released on social media.
Right.
Yes.
You've said something, right? Yes.
Yes. I was really expecting someone to mention that version of TikTok and YouTuber, because those are the headlines, TikTok and a YouTuber.
Right.
But when I was thinking about this topic, it hit me that the problem is not TikTok, the problem is not YouTube, the problem is not social media, because the beating of the child was not recorded on TikTok. It was not at all. The problem here was the persons who are doing TikTok. She was a mother, but not ready for motherhood. And when you listen throughout the video, you get the analysis, or the narrator says that the child had marks like she had been beaten before, 2 weeks before. And then also mentions points where the exchange between the father and the mother was that of, I'm going to be this young kid.
Actually, the boyfriend.
It's not even the father, it's the boyfriend. And I was really pissed at that time. I was watching the video, hoping, or just not hoping to find a TikTok of the mother actually beating the child live on TikTok. But then the point of hope is also real. That because she was a TikToker, and then was she getting enough followers to drive her to, is there a link between her TikTok and her mistreatment of the child? Is there a link between her being on TikTok and her neglecting her child? Is there a link between a YouTuber and her neglecting the child? For me, there's no link apart from the link of the person themselves. Because unless you're a good mother, we still have very good mothers on TikTok, right? The lady was trying to force even the child to do TikToks with her. And it was really, really, really embarrassing and painful to watch. But like Hope, I do reiterate what Hope has said. This society is moving so fast. So fast we are losing out on the lessons we needed to have one-on-one, and now we are having it everywhere. Because if this was a parenting issue, before we used to have parenting classes, not these official parenting classes like, yo, after service come for parenting classes. This was natural. A father comes, sits you down and tells you, you know now you have beard. Eh? That is responsibility. You know you have, now you're past 18. My boy, you're capable of having twins. My father told me that. My father was like, by the way, kaukijua, unaweza pata mapacha. I'm like, ooh, napenda mapacha. And then he was like, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, you're now mature and everything can go wrong with your responsibility. Now that natural parenting is what we lack nowadays. That's why you have 18-year-olds being parents and not ready for it. That's why you have a mother, 6 days, man has her child, and there's no memory of a child ameacha kwa nyumba. Hata Yesu alikuacha hiyo sana.
Right, I know, right? And at least alikuwa at temple.
Hata Yesu alikuwa kwa temple.
Right.
Hata Yesu alikuwa 1 year. Like, I'm even trying to think, yo, do you think your baby was Jesus?
Like 6 days. Then I have two-part questions. I agree with what both of you are saying. I'd have a question to you, Firebrand Joshua. Hope I said about fantasy. I haven't, which I agree fully. But my question with millennials, how do you have a fantasy of not having right and wrong? And that's the one thing I'm usually scared for, because from this then our kids. So like we're already scared now, and then for our kids. How does it happen that you cannot, at least the basic knowledge of what is right and what is wrong? You cannot leave our 20 months, even a 3-year-old alone in a home, and you lock and you go. Like that's something that beats my mind.
I think one of the slogan that the millennials have borrowed is the YOLO.
You only live once.
Yeah. So that's something that has stuck to many young people, and they don't care what I'm going to lose. There's a point they get, and they don't want to think what's next. You know, like if I'm smoking, I'm going to smoke right now. If I die the next minute, as long as I smoked the last minute, it's okay. Or I'm going just to party or lose myself. And in that losing themselves, they lose someone's life.
Right.
You know, and I think that's the error that is there in our generation, or the younger generation, that we don't care what will happen next. So that brings the aspect of being responsible, as they pointed out.
Right.
So if people can just think and be sober. Also, people or young people, the millennials, they get, the exposure is now very, very, it's everywhere. They get exposed to different things when they are very young,
Right.
to drugs, knowledge, and all those things. So when someone gets, let's say, 18 years, they've already been exposed to being a parent. I mean, and they don't care. The other day, there was a documentary that was being released of young people who are between 18 years, actually 17, I think 16, beginning from 16 years. And they were fathers and they were mothers. They were living in I think there's a village somewhere. They lived there. And some of them were even HIV positive. So you could see a whole village of teenagers who are parents. So children bringing up children, and the society, you can clearly tell there's no maturity, and people are parents. So I think it's an error, and when you listen to them, they were like, when I engaged in this thing, I didn't care. I just took drugs. I was on drugs, or I just slept around with men or with women, you know, without really caring. So I think that aspect need to be instilled in these people, and the aspect of caring.
Right.
And like Firebrand was saying, that when he was growing up, the dad kept telling him, you know, you're now capable of impregnating a girl. I think that's what we need to make it clear. Like, you're a girl, you're now capable of being a parent. You can get pregnant.
There are consequences.
Yeah, there are consequences, you know. So I think that awareness need to be more, because the world is coming with a certain speed and force. It's like, try this drug, try this habit, you know. So we need also to come up with a way that let them know the consequences. And I think from there, we can at least have a responsible society and generation.
Awesome. Firebrand, I'd like to ask, there's a blooming narrative that has been happening because the youth are 50%. There's a blooming narrative of wazee waende nyumbani sasa. We can now take over. And do you think that is partly why we have train wrecks? To use my words very loosely, we have train wrecks in the society. Do you think we still are capable enough to hold down ourselves, or do we still need our parents to hold us down?
I think that narrative, I must say this, and it shall be recorded and it can be used anywhere. It is a false narrative. We need the old people. We need our fathers, we need our parents, we need our grandparents. You know, there's a common saying that mzee akiketi chini chini ya mti hata wewe upande juu hakuna uwezi ona Kenya ameona. Like whatever the experience that this person has, you know, I think the main problem would be that we have been exposed to so much information, such that we think we have everything. As long as you have Google, as long as you have these places, Wikipedia, as long as you have these places where you think you can get the information, so you lie to yourself that as long as I have this, I don't need these people. You know that it is always said that experience is the best teacher, but you don't have to wait to experience all these things for you to say, yo, don't do this, don't do A, B, C, D, E, F. So I think we still do need we need our old people, we need our parents, we need them to help us in the transition. I think also another problem is that we have a problem of transition where we feel we are the new age, we are the millennials, there's a lot of technology. Our parents don't know technology. They still hold their phones like this. They still take selfies. Yeah, they still take their selfies like this. And in Egypt, you see, and we feel that as long as we have this technology, our parents don't know. So there is that problem of the transition, and also with the difference with the centuries. So that difference also makes it hard for us. And then you also find that the environment that we are in right now is not the same environment that they were in. Right. Because the environment they were in was strict, it was confined, it had a lot of rules, don't do this. I remember there was someone who's giving her story of how she got pregnant, and she said her parents used to tell her, usitembee na vijana. That is all. That is no. Utapata mimba, usitembee na vijana. You know, so if you tell your daughter usitembee na vijana, what are you trying to say? To see, just as Firebrand has said, I think it is time we just lay it plain. Like, you know you're gonna get pregnant at the end of the day. So you
and there's a process.
There's a process, and so we still do need the older generation. We still need them to help us even in this transition, because there is not everything is here. Definitely. Not everything is here. There are things that they have experienced that we don't have to experience for that to say, oh yeah, by the way, if I do this, I'm gonna get pregnant. I'm gonna be responsible for children. So I think we still do need them.
Awesome.
Yes.
Firebrand, do you think, Kings, do you think our parents, which I actually agree with what she said, do you think also our parents need to come to a 50-50? As much as they have experience, that they need to also, let's use juice up their, not really their internet, but then come to a level of understanding.
I laughed because I remember having this debate. It was actually a confrontation with my parents. Oh, wow. They were like, you're so much into technology, so much into internet, and so much into this and this and this. And then my brother, who is 1 year younger than me, was like, but you guys, you have to know that this technology is past you. That is true. We agreed first, the way we debate in our family is just so different. We just kwanza tuneka all facts. Dad, the mom, we are too advanced in technology that you guys cannot understand. What you know about technology, we know twice. That is the reality. What our parents know about technology, we know twice about it. They know about Facebook. See, Tulisha talk about Facebook. We don't really know.
What's that?
Who wants that? Nowadays, we're like, Mom, unajua TikTok? You're friend on Facebook. So there's a very big technological gap between our parents and us. And then there's a huge experience gap between us and our parents. While in truth, and I remember writing a poem about it or something about it, I was of the opinion, our parents will always teach us depending on how they were taught, and us will always be against our parents because we think that their times are not like these times. But in the conclusion of that poem, I did say that what my parents will tell me, they teach us on principles, they don't teach us on what they did. They teach us on what affected their thoughts. Because we have a lot of information, but we have few knowledge. Then they have few technology, but they are wise. And that is what we need, wisdom, wise parents, wisdom. So do our parents need to get to a 50-50 balance between technology and balance and come to terms with the fact that we are way advanced than them? Yes, because that is the reality. We are too much advanced than our parents. The things they used to do, like even their comments, like if your parents comment on your pictures Facebook, they will know it's your parent. and if your fellow millennial comments about the same photo, you'll say there's a gap here. There's a gap here.
Or in terms of the language?
Yeah, in terms of the language,
the emojis.
Okay. By the way.
Sorry.
Spotlight
effect. Spotlight effect.
Camera, please, come on. So there's that gap between experience that we are not experienced in life, but our parents did not experience what we had in the same way we have, because now we have different pressures from what our parents had. Now we have like pressure to maintain, pressure to know, to pick the relevant information, pressure to actually spread the right information, because we take information about this, somebody was shot, and you sambaza it, and then you come to learn that was a hoax, that was photoshopped, or you get to know the truth from what seems to be the truth is a burden in this generation. To know what is the truth from what seems to be the truth is a burden we have right now. The burden our parents had during that time was to stick to the truth. And now our parents need to come to that term that, my child, you've learned so much about technology that I cannot understand. But there's one principle I know. Like, I'm putting myself in a parent's shoes. That is the conversation we need to have. Like, my son, I know Instagram and TikTok is giving you pressure, and I will never understand that pressure because there was never Instagram, there was never TikTok in our times. But I remember that time there was pressure between my father choosing between me and then someone Jiro and someone else, and I maintained to my true self and I focused on what I wanted, and that is a principle that will still apply even to me. So while in as much as there's that gap, we need our parents, and then they also need to acknowledge that we've gone a very huge step.
So have a 50-50 in a nutshell.
50-50.
Awesome. So apart from our parents elevating, which other recommendation do you guys think that that should be done in terms of the millennials to? I don't want to use those words, but I feel that there's a level of lack of wisdom. So what other recommendations would you give Firebrand Hope?
They say too much of everything is poisonous. Millennials, as Dan Kings has said, we have too much information, but misguided information. For knowledge to be knowledge, it must be organized in a way that is consistent, you see. So like you'll find we have a lot of body of knowledge altogether, but that knowledge must be summed up and then categorized well in order to make effective sense.
Right.
So for me, I feel as we have said, we have too much information, but it is not guided.
Zero appropriation.
So like the way you said, we pick up information from here, pick up information from here, pick up information from here, but yet we are not sure how does this apply in this particular case. You see, and there's something that Kings has said that is very important. He has said that for our parents, that our days are different from theirs. You see. But even that our days are different from ours, is that it's a matter of principle. You see, they're not telling us live as we lived. They're just showing us the principles that require us. You see, you know, like there's this adage that says you don't need to teach a craftsman a new skill, just show him the principles, and he crafts his own craft. We don't need to be like them, but we can use their principles to craft our own craft. You see, and I also feel that I usually say I need to understand the gap that existed, because when you look at our parents and their parents, there was also that same generational gap. But however, in that gap that existed, their parents maintained a consistency in ensuring that knowledge was disseminated. However much different the gap was. So I feel even until today, I think with technology and everything, we have so much been consumed in a lot of activity. So you find that the people who are actually handed over the responsibility of ensuring that things, our information or traditions or principles are handed over to the next generation don't do it. So you find as there's that gap, someone else has to step up. You see, so for instance, right now technology has stepped up. And we have influencers, we have social influencers, media personalities. Like right now, there's this thing going on of baby mamas and baby daddies. You see, I'm looking for, in the next coming years, we are going to have wreckage in marriages. Because the thing is, you can just get pregnant, and feminism, you can take care of yourself. You see, so we are literally we are handing over a broken society. So the next generation that is coming will not have a good understanding of actually what a family setup is. You see, so I think for us, there's need for us even as millennials, because right now we have realized that gap. We now have the responsibility. Our parents cannot just come down and try to mend that. Since we are the one we have identified this problem, then we can find a solution to this problem. Yes, and address it. Yes.
Awesome. Well said. Just by natural selection, you're the Reverend here. So what do you think by what the church, without stretching the topic further and get your particulars prepared, what do you think the church should do in terms of bringing technology? Because there must be a safe space. I usually feel the purpose of a church, apart from, it's a hospital. So hospital comes in when you're sick and you come out healed. So we do not have an issue coming as you are. So but how will the church how will the church become a safe space for the millennials in terms of technology and just across the board?
I think first, the church should empower the peer education such that, as Firebrand Hope has said, we are the solution to our own problems. So the peers who have been empowered, they've been well mentored. It's easy for them to mentor others. It's easy for them to tell others, we are still in this technology, but we are not doing the worldly or evil things. So that's one thing the church can do, empower the peer-to-peer platforms. And also, the church should bridge that gap between the parents and the children in terms of technology. So let the church should let the parents know that technology is there to stay, and it's a good thing. It has actually come to build the relationship between parents and children, or rather to ease that pressure. Because if it's taken rightly, the technology makes mentorship easier. You know, so the church also can open more platforms, online platforms, where they are able to release information that will guide the young people, and by that, the church will make the parents-children relationship to be more tight. You know, so I believe the church has a great responsibility at this point, such that, as you said, come as you are,
Right.
and we will. The church is actually a hospital. I like that term. It's a hospital. If you're not sick, I mean, don't come to church. But because we are all sick, different diagnosis. That's why we're in church.
Right.
Yeah. So let people come the way they are, but it is the responsibility of the church and the church leaders to now understand how do we use technology. How do we use technology to have good influence, because technology is diverse. So how do we which programs do we give to the people that will facilitate educating both parents and young people, so such that if it's TikTok, let the parents know there is TikTok. Let them these days kuna this thing where this app where parents are able to regulate what is happening to their children and monitor. So such things, and the children also know what extremes. So you can use TikTok, you can use technology, but to what extent?
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I agree, like having the parents also elevate themselves in terms of technology. So even when you're regulating, for me, you know what exactly you're regulating.
Yeah.
It's not just
Not that like TikTok
so like,
mbaya, Facebook ni ya shetani.
Yeah. So,
because
so you know what, so you have knowledge of what you're regulating.
Because actually, the 5 years down the line, we were right now people are not on Facebook according to what the statistic that Kings brings in. You know, so back then, even that Facebook, the older parents were like, "Don't use Facebook; it's demonic." You know, but right now, the church itself is using Facebook to stream services.
Right.
So
fancy how
you can the next 5 years. Probably the church will be using TikTok to do
As
the videos,
challenges.
the challenges, like the bishop's challenge. I mean,
So as we evolve, we also evolve. Yes.
Yeah, let's evolve, let's embrace it.
And evolve with knowledge as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me start with the lady party.
For me, I'd say a lot has been said concerning the society and the generations, but my final comment would be when it comes to bridging the gap, takes some time. It doesn't just happen voila in a month, in 2 months. It takes time, just as they have mentioned concerning Facebook. I'll use that as an example, because you will find that at this point right now, if there is no parent on Facebook, they are very analog.
Right.
And then in the next few years, we will find our parents now getting into maybe Instagram and TikTok, as they had said. So even as we get into this process of this transition of bridging the gap, I think it's also important that we give it some time. Let us not, I know we are hurt, we want to bridge the gap, but you know, if you fasten the process, there are some parts that you're going to miss.
I actually agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So pole tu, mdogo mdogo. Trust the process.
That's the process.
Yes.
My parting shot. Well, this is not a long shot. I argued with my father a lot when I was between 21 and 22. I was of the opinion that I was asking him, why would you tell me I'm a grown up now and you still constrain me not to do some things, not do some things? Why are you giving me half freedom and telling me that I am free? It's like you're telling me, it's like tethering a goat with a very long rope. No matter how long that rope is, it's still tethered. And that was a very hard question, come to think of it. And then my father was like, my son, you should know that freedom is very good for you, but it has to be controlled. Even for yourself, even if I did not have to tell you to do some things, contain your freedom, contain your liberties, contain what you consume, control them, because unless you regulate what you are having, it will overpower you. And every time I've gone against that principle, I've had very, very severe repercussions. That this is to show the difference between generations, that my father will never understand the things about Instagram and TikTok and I don't know, WhatsApp status and everything that happens in my generation, but he has a wise tongue. Not just my parents, even all of us here. There's that one word that your parent has ever told you, and you've been applying it even on TikTok. You're like that part of contain your freedom, and that will be your free. You'll be really free when you can really control what's happening and what you want to do. And it has happened to me to be a blessing, a really blessing. So on matters the gap between the older generation and the new generation, there's a technological gap and then there's an experience gap. In areas where we lack experience, let us be humble enough and seek from those who are older than us. In terms of where we need wisdom and we need counsel, yes, you can go for your peers, peer-to-peer counseling, that works. But for things that are going to impact your life on a larger scale and you need someone who has really climbed the tree even before you planted yours, go for your older generation. Should the church adapt to the technology? Should the church change and flex itself to adapt to this new world? That is a very dark hole. Because if the church changes too much to feed this generation, the church will forever be updating their Bible. The church should just use the Bible as it is, as a principle. The Bible as a principle. When you learn the Bible as a principle, you will know why 1 + 1 is 2 and 20 + 20 is 40. And it's not because you added zeros, but because it's the principle of addition. Just like the way formulas work, let the Bible be our formula. Even as the world changes, we're never going to get an updated Adam. Let us just use the Bible as a principle.
Awesome.
I think I will say, we have said a lot of things, but I'll still insist. Truth, information must be guided.
Right.
No matter how wise you are, you must be guided. I think this generation must seek and strive. I think we are full of ourselves and we have a lot of pride. We think that because we have access to a lot of information makes us much more wise. Right. But in actual sense, we are becoming even more foolish by the day. Yet we have too much information. So I still insist we need to be guided in truth. And let us who have seen this problem, we can offer solutions. We can't keep on waiting and trying to see who is going to come and rescue us. There's always a man that needs to rise up in every generation. Right. So I believe that since we have identified these issues, we need to rise up. And as Dan Kings has said, I think also with the church, we need to go back to the teachings of true consequences. Because I believe this generation does not, we are so used to you are going to hell. But we have not explored other consequences that that come along with the things that we do. You can use, maybe let me say an example. You can use the contraceptive to prevent a pregnancy, but you cannot prevent a sexually transmitted demon. Right. You can prevent a sexually transmitted disease, but you can't prevent a sexually transmitted demon. Right. So I think we need also to keep on insisting these kinds of teaching to this generation, telling them by the end of the day you will prevent pregnancy or you'll get pregnant. Show them the consequence. Right. Because this generation, I think we have been too pampered. We are used to, Mom, I want, you're given. Mom, I want, you're given. Dad, I want, you're given. So at no particular time, most of us know the real actual cost of carrying our responsibility. Right. Because today, you'll get pregnant, you'll get that woman pregnant. You're not going to stay at your father's house. You're going to walk out of that house. Have to man up. You see, these are the kind of exposure we need. Not just tell them stop having sex. Stop having sex, but these are the consequences. So that when someone enters there, he'll say, I was fully conscious and aware of the repercussions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Train a child in the ways of God, and when he grows up, they will not depart from the law. So that's the way to go. Teach children the ways of God, and they will not depart once they grow up. So I think that's the way to go. Let them be taught. Sin is sin. If they do the sin, when they grow up, they will see the repercussions, and they will change. So that's that's my parting shot. Teach and don't stop teaching.
Awesome. Thank you so much, family. It's been awesome to do this with you. For me, it's elevate your knowledge. As you elevate in technology, also elevate the wisdom. There has to be a balance. If you're going high, you have to make sure that if you're elevating, You have to make sure that if you're elevating in whatever you're elevating is, just like a business. I feel like technology is the same thing, just like a business. You can't do business as though you're doing it in 2000. Like life changes, you also have to elevate in it without saying more. Thank you so much for joining me and the panelists. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me and the panelists for this day. Remember to use the hashtag panelistminded on all our social media platforms, on JBN Television, and on Facebook, Firebrand Nation Kenya, and on YouTube, Firebrand Nation. And I forgot to say this, remember to like, share, and comment, and subscribe. It's always free to subscribe. And before we withdraw the show, you're on Skiza. We didn't do that last birthday, so how can we do that?
To get my song, which is on Skiza, Nitaamini, you send an SMS starting with Skiza 6387777. You send it to 811. I repeat, send an SMS, start with Skiza 6387777. Send that text to 811, and by that you will have supported the artist.
So you can also like, share, and comment on YouTube,
Comment.
because you have a YouTube channel.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next Monday, love God, love others passionately.
Peace out.
Yes.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you would like to join the Firebrand Nation movement, go to our website at www.firebrandnation.com, sign up and someone will get in touch with you. Also follow us on our social media handles at Firebrand Nation on Instagram and YouTube, and Firebrand and Firebrand Nation KE on Facebook. Remember to love God and love others passionately. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you would like to join the Firebrand Nation movement, go to our website at www.firebrandnation.com, sign up and someone will get in touch with you. Also follow us on our social media handles at Firebrand Nation on Instagram and YouTube, and Firebrand Nation KE on Facebook. Remember to love God and love others passionately.